ladies and gentlemen. You're here with Austin from Ohio, and today is Saturday, April 17th, 2021. This is actually my third time trying to record this video because the first time it didn't go too well because I was all over the place. And this past time, I hit this little pause button down here in the bottom left that you can see, and it stopped the video, so I just won't be able to pause. I did hear through you guys actually about Tim and his channels, and I saw the video that he put out. Something's going on, not quite sure what it is, but we're going to be praying for him, and hopefully it's nothing too bad. Or yeah, I'm just thankful that they didn't take his channel down completely. Yeah, so if you can all use the 8 p.m. prayer tonight that Tim started actually, and pray for him because he needs it apparently at this point in time. Something's going on, and he looked pretty concerned in the video that he put up a little while ago. If you didn't watch that, maybe head over and watch that before you watch me. That he's a good man. Tim is a good dude, and we need to be on it. We need to take care of each other, and we need to pray for each other. And it's not good. It's not good. But Tim, if you're watching this, man, I hope whatever's going on, I hope you get that taken care of. And you said something on your video. I really don't want to go into it on here because I'm sure it's a sensitive topic for you, and that's your personal business and whatnot. But we'll just wait for the update from him, see what's going on there. But you're in my prayers, brother, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Also, oh man, yeah, you guys are gonna have to bear with me on this one because I'm sitting in the car with a computer in my lap, and I got this air mouse right here, so I'm using my passenger seat over here for like a little mouse pad. It's kind of working out, and as you can already tell, you can see my face now. So when you watch my videos from now on, you'll be seeing me. So get used to it. Before I get started, I want to show you guys something. Head over to my YouTube channel here real quick. Alright. Watch what happens when I try to go live, because I wanted to go live for this video because I really want to talk to you guys real time instead of waiting until it's done and then you guys comment and then I have to go through and talk to you guys through the comments. I really want to go live, and I thought that I could because on my phone it says, oh, you're not eligible for mobile live streaming yet, but you can still live stream through a webcam or whatever. I said okay, so I went and bought a laptop, and now watch. Ready in 24 hours. It takes 24 hours to activate your account for live streaming. Once activated, you can go live instantly. So I'm pretty sure it's been more than 24 hours if I'm not mistaken, because Mike Decker put that video up about 12:30 my time, so that's Eastern Standard Time. So he's 3 hours behind, so it was like 9 a.m. where he's at. And it's definitely been 24 hours, so I don't know what's going on with this, but I promise you guys, I promise, as soon as I can go live, I'm going to. It's getting a little warm. I just wanted to show you guys that so you don't think that I'm slacking on you, because I'm not. I'm trying. I'm really trying. Okay, so we'll get rid of this. Oh, look. There's my active community guideline strikes right there too. So if I get one more, this channel, Austin from Ohio, my main channel, gets, boom, terminated, gone. See you later. Anyway, Yeah, you guys are gonna have to watch me and smoking my cigarettes and stuff, and you're gonna have to bear with me. Like I said, this is like a test video to see how this is gonna go. I'm actually pretty excited that you guys can see my face though, because now you're gonna be able to see my emotions. You're probably gonna see me get pissed off a couple times because I do end up getting mad, and you're gonna see what I look like when I get mad, and it's not a pretty sight actually. So sorry about all of that. Let me make sure I'm recording here. Yeah, I sure am. Alright, let's get into it. I brought this up before, and there are some new people on here, so I wanted to bring it up again because it's very important. This is very important stuff. This is the United Nations 2030 Agenda Decoded, and it's a blueprint for the global enslavement of humanity under the boot of corporate masters. So, if you're new on here, or you're new to the subject in general of the New World Order, what's going on in the world, you have to be blind not to see it, first of all. You should understand what this agenda actually means. And this was Friday, September 4th, 2015, by this Mike Adams guy. And this is the time that the Pope came to the United States and addressed the Congress and unveiled Agenda 2030. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, see right here. Published an important article entitled 2030 Agenda. This month, the UN launches blueprint for a new world order with the help of the Pope. So we're what? 6 years after this? They're getting there, especially with what's going on now. Also, watch this. Check this out real quick. I'm sorry, you guys are going to have to see my flip horizontally. Oh, now I'm on this side. Oh, now I'm on this side again. It's just funny. Anyway, this document describes nothing less than a global government takeover of every nation across the plane, we'll say. The goals of this document are nothing more than code words for a corporate government fascist agenda that will imprison humanity in a devastating cycle of poverty, while enriching the world's most powerful globalist corporations like Monsanto and DuPont. We know that. It's pretty self-explanatory. In the interest of helping wake up humanity, I've decided to translate the 17 points of this 2030 agenda so that readers everywhere can understand what this document is really calling for. To perform this translation, you have to understand how globalists disguise their monopolistic agendas in feel-good language. They always do that. Even in regular news articles, they use their feel-good language, like inclusive, sustainable, we're going to keep you safe, resilient. And people are like, oh man, this is so awesome. I really hope that they can save us all from ourselves, because we're just not responsible enough to take care of ourselves anymore. So, I don't know. We're just going to have to give up all of our rights, all of our freedom, and give it to these people because that's where we are. I'm already getting worked up. Okay, here's the point-by-point translation. Notice carefully that nowhere does this document state that achieving human freedom is one of its goals, nor does it explain how these goals are to be achieved. As you'll see here, every single point in this UN agenda is to be achieved through centralized government control and totalitarian mandates that resemble communism. Yeah. That's what this is. This is global communism. They really, really want this to take shape. And in my opinion, they're getting sloppy because they used to be so good at hiding what they were doing. But now they want it too bad. They're getting too sloppy, and more people are starting to see what's going on. Like all the shootings that have been happening. Regular people that knew nothing of this, not awake at all, are saying, it's kind of weird that all these shootings are going on at this point in time. How do we go a whole year without them, and all of a sudden we have them? Agenda? Yeah, agenda. Okay, goal number 1, end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Translation, put everyone on government welfare, food stamps, housing subsidies, and handouts that make them obedient slaves to global government. Never allow people at upward mobility to help themselves. Instead, teach mass victimization and obedience to a government that provides monthly allowance money for basic essentials like food and medicine. Label it ending poverty. That's already going on a wide scale. People are already excited about this 4th stimulus check. I didn't even know that they were... man. And all this is going to transfer right over into the UBI. And I'm pretty sure Canada's already got the UBI ready to go, ready to launch. I'm not quite sure about that. I know in Europe they're rolling it out too. Okay, now here's the translation. This is why I like this article. This is why I like this, because this is an actual translation of how it's going to be manifested. Because how would you end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition, promote sustainable agriculture, or end poverty in all its forms everywhere? Sorry, I read the second one. Actually, no. I'm an idiot. I was on the second one. Okay, so translation. Invade the entire plain with GMOs and Monsanto's patented seeds while increasing the use of deadly herbicides under the false claim of increased output of food crops. Engineer genetically modified plants to boost specific vitamin chemicals while having no idea of the long-term consequences of genetic pollution or cross-species genetic experiments carried out openly in a fragile ecosystem. Yep, that's going on. And the way they're doing this, they're not doing it like, okay, goal 1, goal 2, goal 3. No, they're doing every single one of them simultaneously, all at the same time. All at the same time. Number 3, ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Translation, mandate 100 plus, this word here, for all children and adults at gunpoint, threatening parents with arrest and imprisonment if they refuse to cooperate. Push heavy medication use on children and teens while rolling out screening programs, call mass medication prevention programs, and claim they improve the health of citizens. Is that going on? And I want you guys to really think about how many of these they're actually implementing and how many are actually going on. Goal number 4, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Push a false history and dumb down education under Common Core education standards that produce obedient workers rather than independent thinkers. Never let people learn real history, or else they might realize they don't want to repeat it. That's been going on. They've been teaching a dumbed down form of history for the longest time. Like way before I was ever in school. Number 5, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Sounds great, right? Translation, criminalize Christianity, marginalize heterosexuality, demonize males, and promote the LGBT agenda everywhere. The real goal is never equality, but rather the marginalization and shaming of anyone who express any male characteristics whatsoever. That's where the term toxic masculinity comes in. You guys hear that one? The ultimate goal is to feminize society, creating widespread acceptance of gentle obedience, along with the self-weakening ideas of communal property and sharing everything, because only male energy has the strength to rise up against oppression and fight for human rights. The suppression of male energy is key keeping the population in a state of eternal acquiescence. Yes. Now, this is not saying that women can't or won't help in standing up to this, because of course you will. But there's something inside of us males that's it comes from testosterone. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. When you get a little bit mad about something, or you feel strongly about something, you really just want to put a hole in a wall. or you want to get you get so worked up, and you feel stronger, you think more clearly, you are ready to go. It's really hard to explain, but guys, you know what I'm talking about. You could feel it. You could feel whenever you have that boost of testosterone, whenever you have the boost. That's the entire point of it. I really hope you guys are going to be able to see me if it gets dark. We'll keep this light on. Okay, let's keep on going. Goal number 6, ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Translation, allow powerful corporations to seize control of the world's water supplies and charge monopoly prices to build new water delivery infrastructure that ensures availability. Happening. Number 7, ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Translation, penalize coal, gas, and oil while pushing doomed to fail green energy subsidies to brain-dead startups headed by friends of the White House who all go bankrupt in 5 years or less. The green startups make for impressive speeches and media coverage, but because these companies are led by corrupt idiots rather than capable entrepreneurs, they always go broke, and the media hopes you don't remember all the fanfare surrounding their original launch. Yeah, Green New Deal. How many people are going against like coal and stuff now, say, these are non-renewable resources, and we can't keep using them because we're ruining the earth. Well, here's the truth. How come they've been saying this stuff for the longest time? People have told me back in the 70s and 80s, they were saying, by the year 2000, we're going to run out of gas and this and that. Guess what? Never happened. It is 2021, and you can still go to the gas station and fill up your car, no problem. Billions of people are doing this every single day. Wouldn't you think that if we were running out by the year 2000, 21 years later, we're still able to go and get as much as we want? If I wanted to, I can go down to the gas station right now and spend $1,000 in filling up gas cans, cars, trucks, whatever I had, if I had all that stuff. It's not running out. That's not real. So they can take their lies and they can stick them where the sun don't shine on that. Goal number 8, promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, decent work for all. Translation, regulate small business out of existence with government-mandated minimum wage that bankrupt entire sectors of the economy. Also, at this point in time, you could add to this one, what happened in 2020? Small businesses, gone. Gone. Most of them. You can't keep up with that. Not with what was going on last year. And now they're fighting for that $15 an hour minimum wage. People are literally begging to destroy many, many small businesses. And not even just small businesses. Any business at all. You know how many businesses will go under if they put the minimum wage at $15 an hour? With the current tax rate and the current debt, the debt crisis. Problem is, people don't understand the economy. They don't understand how multifaceted it is. They don't understand how anything works whatsoever at all. That's why they go out there and they're like, $15 an hour, yeah, we're going to get paid a lot. Well, guess what? Here's something. Let's say they do mandate $15 an hour for all. Now your job is going to have to raise the prices of their product in order to pay you. That, or they're going to cut their staff down to the least amount of people they can have to operate, because they won't be able to pay all those people because they'll be losing money. People think that if you just put a $15 minimum wage, that's all it's going to change. Oh, they'll just have to pay you more. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. Some people you can't even talk to. It's like talking to a wall. Like, literally. Hey, car, I'm going to tell you something and you're not going to realize it. You know why? Because you're a car. Come on, man. Goal number 9. Build resilient infrastructure. Promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization and foster innovation. And all this stuff sounds good, guys. All of this stuff sounds great. Of course, who could argue? Who could argue any of this? Until you understand what goes into it. Translation: put nations into extreme debt with the World Bank, spending debt money to hire corrupt American corporations to build large-scale infrastructure projects that trap developing nations in an endless spiral of debt. See the book Confessions of an Economic Hitman by John Perkins to understand the details of how this scheme has been repeated countless times over the last several decades. Don't even really got to explain that one. Really, I don't. I don't have to explain that one at all. What is this? No pearls before swine commented. I can't even see that right now. Thank you. No pearls before swine. Whatever you said right there. Thank you. But I'm in the middle of doing a video and it just came up. I still haven't got this laptop stuff figured out yet, guys. And I'm really upset that I can't go live because I really want to be able to do this, what I'm doing here, live, so you guys can see me, talk to me, I could talk to you. It'll be great. It'll be great. Goal number 10, reduce inequality within and among countries. Translation: punish the rich, the entrepreneurs, and the innovators, confiscating nearly all gains by those who choose to work and excel. Redistribute the confiscated wealth to the masses of non-working human parasites that feed off productive economy while contributing nothing to it, all while screaming about equality. Has that not been going on forever? People that don't work are like this. Gimme. I'm not working for anything, just give it to me. It's mine. It's mine. Just give it up. And you say, no, you're terrible, you're a terrorist, you're selfish, you're ignorant. Whatever. See, I told you guys are going to see me get pissed off because I get so mad when I'm talking about this stuff. And it's only because I feel so strongly and I care about freedom. So, I don't know. Oh, goal number 11, one of my personal favorites. Make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Translation: ban all gun ownership by private citizens, concentrating guns into the hands of obedient government enforcers who rule over an unarmed, enslaved class of impoverished workers. Criminalize living in most rural areas by instituting Hunger Games-style protected areas, which the government will claim are owned by the people, even though no people are allowed to live there. Force all humans into densely packed, tightly controlled cities where they are under 24/7 surveillance and subject to easy manipulation by government. Are they not trying to do that right now? All of this. This is part of the Great Reset as well. They're literally going to criminalize living in rural areas. And rural areas constitute as, well, whatever town you might live in that's not a major city. When the Georgia Guidestones say twice to leave room for nature, this is what it's talking about. In addition to depopulation. Yes. And this part down here, well, first, if you ban all gun ownership by private citizens, and they're the only ones that have any guns, who's going to stand up to them? Who? Nobody. Nobody will be able to stand up to them. Nope. There's a really, really good documentary on YouTube, and it is called Innocence Betrayed. Innocence with a TS, not a CE. And it's a history of gun confiscation and what happens to people who do give up their firearms. And like I've said many times, never, ever give up your firearms. Never, ever, 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 ever. Even if they make a law. Screw them. What are they going to do? Come to your house? Oh well. This part down here, criminalize living in most rural areas by instituting Hunger Games style protected areas, which the government will claim are owned by the people, even though no people are allowed to live there. That kind of reminds me of, well, let me see if I can't. You see that hill up there? That's woods, right? And the highway's up there. I wish you could see it a little better. The highway is up there, and that's nothing but woods, just trees for miles, that's it. There's a sign, oh, what is this? Sorry. There's a sign up there that says, no trespassing, state property, which technically there is no state property, it's only public property, and there's a $500,000 fine, or 10 years imprisonment, or both, for anybody that sets foot up there. Seriously, I'll show you the sign one day when I get out of my car and go up there and record it. Yep. Why can't I go up in those woods? I love the woods. You want to see something else that's cool? Hold up. If you could see it. You see up there on that hill over there? That's West Virginia. Ain't that something? Oh yeah, that's my house. That's my nice little canopy. Sit there. Yes, I live in a modular home. It's a nice one. What do you think about that? Yep, I'm pretty close to West Virginia, so that's pretty cool. I'm actually happy I could show you guys things now. Because I'm not secretive about anything. I'll show anybody anything. If you were here, I'd throw a huge party at my house right now. An anti-restriction party, which we can all just come in here and chill. And no mask wearing allowed. Anyway, back to this. Ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. Translation. Begin levying punitive taxes on the consumption of fossil fuels and electricity, forcing people to live under conditions of worsening standards of living that increasingly resemble third world conditions. Use social influence, campaigns in TV, movies, social media, to shame people who use gasoline, water, or electricity, establishing a social construct of ninnies and tattlers who rat out their neighbors in exchange for food credit rewards. This is something that I've addressed also. I'm not worried about, oh, that was stupid, why did I just do that? I'm not worried about what they're gonna do, they as in like the system, because we already know what they're gonna do. I'm worried about my neighbor. If my neighbors are cool, but I'm worried about how our neighbors are going to act and how our neighbors are going to be during all of this, because they will definitely tell on you when things get bad enough, because they'll be like, oh, this is the only way that I'm gonna be able to get food or anything, I'm gonna have to. You should definitely believe that, because people are already calling the cops on people for making too much noise or something. They're already out there calling the police. It's just insane. It's really insane, this entire thing. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's see. 13. Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. Gee, where have we heard that one before? Set energy consumption quotas on each human being and start punishing or even criminalizing lifestyle decisions that exceed energy usage limits set by governments. Smart meters in your home? Yeah. Institute total surveillance of individuals in order to track and calculate their energy consumption, penalize private vehicle ownership, and force the masses onto public transit, where TSA grunts and facial recognition cameras can monitor and record the movement of every person in society, like a scene ripped right out of Minority Report. Yep, absolutely, 100%. 14. Conserve and sustainably use the oceans. Seize marine resources for sustainable development. Ban most ocean fishing, plunging the food supply into extreme shortage and causing runaway food price inflation. That puts even more people into economic desperation. Criminalize the operation of private fishing vessels and place all ocean fishing operations under control of government. Central planning only allow favored corporations to conduct ocean fishing operations and make this decision based entirely on which corporations give the most campaign contributions to corrupt lawmakers. That's already pretty much going on too. That's already pretty much a thing. Here's a good one. Protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity loss. Translation, roll out Agenda 21, force humans off the land into controlled cities. Criminalize private land ownership, including ranches and agricultural tracts. Tightly control agriculture through a corporate, corrupted government bureaucracy whose policies are determined almost entirely by Monsanto while being rubber-stamped by the USDA. Ban wood stoves, rainwater collection, home gardening in order to criminalize self-reliance, and force total dependence on government. We all know about the people who got arrested collecting the rainwater, but I think it was Chicago, or maybe New York City, I forget. There was this older lady, and she had a garden, and the city came and shut her garden down. She came home, and it was all tore up, and there was a huge sign slapped on her gate, and it said that she had to pay like this $500 fine, and gardens are illegal in the city or something. I'll have to look it up and show you guys next time. Alright, 16. Promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, inclusive institutions at all levels. Grant legal immunity to illegal aliens and protected minority groups, which will be free to engage in any illegal activity, including openly calling for mass murder of police officers, because they are the new protected class in society. Inclusive institutions means granting favorable tax structures and government grants to corporations that hire LGBT workers or whatever groups are currently in favor with the central planners in government. Use the IRS and other federal agencies to selectively punish unfavorable groups with punitive audits and regulatory harassment, all while ignoring the criminal activities of favored corporations that are friends of the political elite. I'm sure you guys can think of a couple examples of that one. 17. Strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. Translation. Enact global trade mandates that override national laws while granting unrestricted imperialism powers to companies like Monsanto, Dow Chemical, R.J. Reynolds, Coca-Cola, and Merck. Pass global trade pacts that bypass nations' lawmakers and override intellectual property laws to make sure the world's most powerful corporations maintain total monopolies over drugs, seeds, chemicals, and technology, nullify national laws, and demand total global obedience to trade agreements authored by powerful corporations rubber-stamped by the UN. I mean, come on. How much obvious does it have to get? Literally, how much more obvious does this have to get? Total enslavement of the planet by 2030. As the UN document says, we commit ourselves to working tirelessly for the full implementation of this agenda by 2030. If you read the full document and can read beyond the fluttery and public relations phrases, you'll quickly realize the UN agenda is going to be forced upon all citizens of the world through the invocation of government coercion. Nowhere does the document state that the rights of the individual will be protected, nor does it even acknowledge the existence of human rights granted to individuals by the Creator. Even the so-called Universal Declaration of Human Rights utterly denies individuals the right to self-defense, the right to medical choice, and the right to parental control over their own children. The UN is planning nothing less than a global government tyranny that enslaves all of humanity while calling the scheme sustainable development and equality. 1984 has finally arrived, and of course, it's all being rolled out under a fraudulent label of progress. What do you think about that? Excuse me. That is the truth. 100%. There's no two ways about it. I read that a long time ago, and I was like, oh, Lord, this is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I can't even believe it. This is even going on in our world. I can't. Let's move on. Oh, come on. No. Okay, this one comes to us from our friends over at CNN. 1 killed, 1 wounded in shooting at Nebraska Mall. This was today, about 4 p.m. So again, they're just going to keep going on with these shootings. They're going to do it until they have every single rifle, handgun, shotgun in the United States. And they're going to keep going with it until we give up all of our firearms. That light was getting annoying. Oh, and did you guys see that? Well, I was correct whenever I said that the shooter from the FedEx place, when I said that he had contact with the FBI. Yeah, he did. His mother called the FBI on him like last year or something, and he had an interview with the FBI. Every single time. MK Ultra. Zippo has kind of like become a signature of mine. Every single video you'll hear it, so test that out. Okay, a person has died after being shot Saturday at Westroads Mall in Omaha, Nebraska. The victim, described as an adult male, was taken by ambulance to Bergen Mercy Hospital in critical condition and died there. Police news release said. He hasn't been identified yet. Later, an adult female walked into CHI Emmanuel Hospital with non-life-threatening gunshot. Police said she was shot at the mall. The investigation indicates this was an isolated incident, not a random attack. The police news release said law enforcement from multiple agencies arrived to assist with securing the scene, searching the entire mall as precaution. Shooting happened around noon. Lieutenant Neil Bonacci said during a press briefing, security showed 2 suspects fleeing the mall. Whatever. That's really all there is. And of course, this goes to the agenda right now to disarm all of us. All of us. And there's something different about this one. There's something totally different about this one this time. I believe they're going to do it. They're going to get it done. It's not going to be good. Like I said, guys, this video is like a test video. I'm mad that I didn't get to go live earlier, because I really, really want to go live. But I'm still figuring out this laptop thing. It's been forever since I had one. Why is the camera lagging now? Okay, let's move on to this one. Again, another one today. Police body camera footage shows fatal shooting of a black man in Honolulu. So they're going to keep playing this race thing, because they have to divide the people. They have to. They have to keep us in a constant state of division. Honolulu police have released body camera footage showing when officers deployed a stun gun on a black man and fatally shot him while responding to a call about an alleged burglary. Wait. So was he killed by a stun gun, or was he killed by an actual gun? Or is it one of those things again where he thought it was a stun gun and... Oh, wait. He deployed a stun gun and fatally shot him. Okay. Lindani Maini, 29, married father of two, originally from South Africa, killed by police outside Nuanu home on Wednesday. And they released 2 body camera videos Friday. Third officer's camera had not been activated. Gee, imagine that every single time. Footage, though dark and shaky, shows officers struggle with the suspect, use a taser on him, and shoot him 3 times, all in less than a minute. He entered a home, sat down, taking off his shoes, prompting the scared occupants to call 911, Honolulu Police Department Chief Susan Ballard said Thursday. Ballard said during a news conference that a 911 caller said a man sitting in a vehicle was the person who had been in her home. When the officer first arrived at the scene around 8:10 p.m., a distraught woman is heard outside the house telling the officer that's him. Monty is seeing the footage getting out of the car, walking toward the officer. Another officer is heard in body camera footage ordering the man to get on the ground. He did not appear to comply. Charged with the officer, punched him several times. It doesn't really matter how this went on. It doesn't. Because, it does, because it sucks. This guy lost his life. But the reason it's making national news is because they have to turn us against each other. Remember what I said yesterday? Everything you see in the news goes toward the agenda. Everything. Everything. No matter what it is. And, oh wait, here's the video of the kid in Chicago that was shot. And he did have a gun, by the way. I think I'd clarified that earlier. Yeah, his hands were up when he was shot, but he had a gun beforehand. There's a bunch of pictures floating around of that. But at the time he was shot, his hands were up. But he did have a firearm. Let's see. Oh, just showing the same thing over and over again. I'm gonna get better at this, guys, with the whole laptop thing. But see this stuff going on here leads to this. Protests erupt in U.S. cities over police violence as riot declared in Portland. And again, wasn't Portland where the Chaz was, the autonomous zone? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that that's where that was. Thousands marched in Chicago, where 13-year-old Adam Toledo was killed, while about 100 arrested in Brooklyn Center. Oh man, this is insane. This is insane. Everybody's going to be focusing on all of this, getting involved in the left-right Hegelian dialectic, and they're going to roll through this reset, roll out Agenda 21, and they're going to do it. They're going to justify UN on the streets of the United States. They're going to say we're ungovernable. Ungovernable. Crazy, crazy. In the wake of killings of Dante Wright, 20-year-old shot by police that are being pulled over, and unarmed 13-year-old Adam Toledo, thousands took to the streets to demonstrate, sometimes into the night. In Chicago, where Adam was killed, thousands marched into Logan Square after the video of the 13-year-old being shot with his arms raised was released this week. Protesters planned to march into Mayor Lori Lightfoot's home, some of them calling for her resignation. I would call for her resignation because she said she only wants people in agencies who pledge allegiance to the New World Order. That's why I would want her resignation. The event was largely peaceful, though some police and protesters scuffled as the night drew to a close. Last year was child's play. And if this cop, this Derek Chauvin guy, if he gets acquitted during all of this, oh man, you watch. They need it. They need this chaos. They are counting on it. So they can get the order out of chaos. Okay, in the Minneapolis, Minnesota suburb of Brooklyn Center, protesters staged the sixth straight night of demonstrations outside police headquarters. Smaller demonstrations also occurred in downtown Minneapolis. This is literally last year. Play by play. Last year. Sorry, you gotta see me smoking cigarettes and stuff, guys. Just trying to make sure I got this all going. Oh, cool. Look at that. I'm still recording. So this is working out. This whole thing's a test. I just brought up stuff real quick just to put in a video just to see how it would go. So don't hate me for this one. Yeah. Okay, Friday night, a number of reporters documented being detained by police and released only after being photographed by officers with their press identification badges. Meanwhile, protests that began peacefully in California ended with multiple fires set, several cars damaged, and numerous windows shattered. Protests against police brutality in Oakland began calmly Friday night, news outlets reported. A subsequent march drew about 300 people. People in the crowd threw bottles and other objects at officers during the march, Oakland police said in a statement. One officer suffered an injury from being struck in the head. A community member was also assaulted, police said. Later, authorities declared unlawful assembly and instructed demonstrators to leave. Police said the protesters dispersed peacefully. There were no arrests or citations issued. In Portland, Oregon, police declared a riot Friday night after demonstrations that followed police fatally shooting a local man while responding to reports of a person with a gun. Chris Davis, some said the man was mentally ill. Portland's new street response team, created after last year's protests to respond to mental crisis without armed police, was not called. It's good to know. Chris Davis, deputy police chief, told reporters earlier in the day that a white man in his 30s was shot and killed by police officer Zachary DeLong. The man was pronounced dead at the scene, Lens Park, which is in a leafy residential neighborhood of the city. Two officers fired a 40mm device that shoots non-lethal projectiles at DeLong. An 8-year veteran fired a gun, police said in a statement. DeLong, a combat veteran, had previously been celebrated by the Portland Police Bureau after appearing in 2016 History Channel documentary detailing his role while serving as a U.S. Army Ranger in a 2010 engagement with the Taliban in Afghanistan. The Taliban in Afghanistan. Oh, man. 2011, he made news in San Diego after reportedly wrestling with a firearm from suspect during a ride-along with local officers while he was still serving as a soldier. At the time, he told reporters that his father was a PPB officer. 2015, PPB also awarded DeLong a life-saving medal, which Bureau directives describe as being awarded to any sworn or non-sworn Bureau member or community member who saved the life of another person. So this guy was kind of decorated. And of course, they got their agent provocateurs out there. They got their, they're going to keep doing this. They're going to keep playing this role here. They're going to keep Here's what's going to happen. They're going to keep going with this. They're going to turn us against ourselves. They're going to turn all of us against the police, turn the police against us, and then they're going to say the police can't do their jobs in the United States anymore. We got to send in somebody else. That's when you see the peacekeepers coming in. Let me see if I can find something real quick before we end this. Make sure I don't have nothing else here. Oh, real quick. Latest massacres test gun control advocates' resolve as White House faces growing pressure to act. Routine has become so predictable. That's the word for it, predictable. This whole thing is predictable. Look at this. Washington Post, democracy dies in darkness. Fitting. Routine has become so predictable that some gun control activists see the familiarity of tragedy as their biggest obstacle to achieving the change they've been seeking for the past decade. The gunman's rampage that claimed 8 lives Thursday in Indianapolis became the latest mass shooting, set off the well-known patter of condolences, lowered flags, and somber presidential statement calling on Congress to act. With the cycle typically ending in legislative gridlock for repeating itself, activists are seizing on the most recent spate of deadly shootings to try to disrupt the system. Quote, God help us if we ever become complacent, or if this should just become routine and we just look the other way, said Mark Barden, co-founder of gun violence prevention group Sandy Hook Promise. I do believe we have an opportunity now for a bipartisan solution to gun safety. I'm trying to convey to folks that it's all hands on deck. Like I said, there's something very, very different about this one. With Democrats in control of the White House, the House, and the Senate for the first time in a decade, the recent string of mass shootings has encouraged activists to make a concerted push for fresh legislation restricting access to guns, but with no clear consensus on how to achieve an elusive goal. And with the White House reluctant to spend limited political capital on a prospect with long odds, there's a palpable fear among gun control groups that their best chance in years to change the nation's gun laws could once again end in failure. And what they're going to do is they're going to say that Congress ain't doing nothing, we don't need them. They're going to tell the president, oh, executive action, executive action, executive action. And guess what? That's what he's going to do. Yep. It's exactly what he's going to do. Oh, well, here, we can actually watch this. See if it'll go. I really hope they're going to pick up the internal audio, too.
The Attorney General and his team to identify for me immediate, concrete actions I could take now without having to go through the Congress. And today I'm announcing several initial steps my administration is taking to curb this epidemic of gun violence. Much more need to be done, but the first, I want to rein in the proliferation of so-called ghost guns. They have no serial numbers, so when they show up at a crime scene, they can't be traced. And the buyers aren't required to pass a background check to buy the kit. With online sales and ghost guns, times and trafficking methods have changed. And we have to adjust. We also have to ask the Justice Department to release a new annual report. This report will better help policymakers address firearms trafficking as it is today.
Firearms trafficking. That's what they're calling it. Trafficking. They're already using language that you would use if guns were illegal in the United States, which they are not. In fact, well, I'm not even going to do that one. But So he's saying that he is looking for avenues to where he does not have to go through the Congress. So you're a self-admitted dictator, right? Right? Am I the only one here that's like insane? Okay, well, check this. March for Our Lives, a group that formed in 2018 after a shooting at Parkland, Florida high school, killed 17 students and staff, is planning to bring several students to Washington this week to push lawmakers on background check legislation. Most groups have rallied behind as their most likely chance of success. Moms demand action. Commie mommies, right? Another gun control group recently completed a 16,000-mile road trip across the country to advocate for legislation expanding background checks for firearms purchases, said founder Shannon Watts. The tour was backed by Everytown for Gun Safety, a leading advocate for gun regulations. We can't give up. 100 Americans are shot and killed every day. Hundreds more are wounded, Watts said. This isn't something where anyone can afford to sit on the sidelines and just say that's the way it is. And the sad part is, these people that are involved in these groups, they don't know what actually happens when you disarm populations. They don't know. And they would bring up, UK, Europe, Australia. But like I said before, if you read, I'm going to find it. I'm going to find where the UN talks about. They can't go one country by country and say, okay, Australia, boom, New World Order implemented fully. England, New World Order implemented fully, taking guns, because then we would see that in the United States and we'd be like, no, we're not doing that here. Hell no. That's why they're waiting until they have our guns, and then they're going to take it all in one foul swoop. While legislation requiring background checks for all gun buyers has passed the House, the odds remain long in the Senate, where Democrats hold a razor-thin majority. Congress has repeatedly declined to respond to mass shootings in recent years, even as they have become more frequent, with Democrats pushing for gun restrictions opposed by Republicans. Although gridlock has persisted for years, shootings over the past month have renewed a push by some lawmakers to try to strike a bipartisan compromise. Yeah. They do this. They go back and forth, act like they do, anyway. But they always come to a compromise. Even the NRA is like, guys, it's okay. We'll just give them an inch, back it up a little bit, and then again, we'll just give them a foot this time. They're going to compromise all the way down until you got a steel rod in your hand, what used to be your barrel. And you're going to be like, well, wait. Then they're going to take that too. They're going to say, oh, you can hit somebody with that barrel, so whatever. Don't ever give up your guns. Week before the country saw back-to-back mass shootings in Atlanta and Boulder, Colorado, the House passed two bills. Yeah, see that? Weeks before we saw these mass shootings, the House passed two bills, mostly along party lines, that would lengthen the review period for background checks and make them mandatory for all gun sales and transfers. So you mean to tell me that they introduced this stuff, which I covered, and predicted that they were going to start orchestrating these shootings? You can even go back on my main channel and watch those. And a lot of other people did too, because it's predictable. That's why these are even happening. Or some aren't happening, but that's why they do this. Both bills are unlikely to be approved by the Senate, which will require Republicans joining with all Democrats to pass them. Senator Joe Manchin expressed opposition to the House bills as well. President Biden voiced support for the legislation, but has said its priority is to get control of the pandemic and rebuild the economy. Democrats, led by Senator Chris Murphy, Connecticut, are working behind the scenes to see whether they can strike a deal with Republicans on background checks. Actually, how it really works is the people behind the curtain that own all these people here are going to tell them exactly what to do. While any bipartisan deal would probably fall short of what Democrats want, it would still mark a rare response from Congress to mass shootings. Skepticism remains that anything will get done. In response to the shooting in Indianapolis, Senate Majority Leader Charles Schumer once again committed himself to holding a vote on gun legislation to address this epidemic in America. I'm just going to keep going. Well, I'm not going to keep going on this, because all this is just they're trying to make you think that it's a lot worse than it actually is. And I mean, the reality is, think about it. Every time you go out, how many times have you personally seen somebody shoot up something? I've never seen it. I hope to never see it. But guess what? They tell you that you see it all the time. It's crazy. It's crazy. But this was a good test video for this. Hopefully I can do some of this soon. But as you can see, it says it takes 24 hours to activate your account for live streaming. Whatever. As soon as I can go live, I will. My next video will hopefully be a live stream. But we'll go ahead and end it there. And as always, we could do the Lord's Prayer. So if you will pray with me. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those trespass against us. And lead us not unto temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Stay free.